With Shelley Ratliff, the Executive Director of the Preble County Council on Aging. And the issue today is going to be on seniors, and our topic will be on aging in place. So Shelley, thank you so much for being part of our show. Aging in place, I always tell my wife, we got to send our kids to college. And by that time, college is going to be about $300,000 maybe. We may be aging right there in that home paying that mortgage. So,
isn't that where you want?
That's where you want. That's where we want to be anyway. So it's like, this is a great topic to talk about because, how awesome would it be, to age in your own home and in the comfort of your own home if that's what you so desire to do. Let's start off by talking a little bit about, what would you say is one of the most important issues probably in a senior's life?
According to the National Council on Aging, 90% of seniors want to stay at home as long as they can.
90%?
90%. So we encourage people to do what they can to stay in their own homes until they can't stay there any longer. So sometimes those choices are either voluntary or involuntary, so that they need to go to an assisted living community or a nursing facility. Sometimes they have that choice on their own, and sometimes that they don't. But aging in place is definitely where people want to be living at home.
Well, the next question is, why is that the place? Why is home? I have my own thoughts, but why do people just want to age right there in their own respective homes as opposed to retirement communities? Some retirement communities feel like you're at a resort.
They sure are.
And they cook your food, they handle all of the extracurricular activities, you're with all your buddies and your workout sessions and saunas and pools. Help me understand.
Well, that sounds pretty good to me, too, right now. But I think as I get older, I would want to keep that independence, and staying at home is going to make you feel more independent. When you're at home, you make those decisions, what you do every day, where you eat, what you're watching on TV, what activities that you do. And obviously, when you go to something else, so whether it be a cruise, a resort, a nursing facility, you have some of those decisions being made for you. So it is important that we have people stay at home, because it's scary to think that somebody else is going to make those decisions for us.
Yes. And we are creatures of nature, and we don't like change. It's like the older generation. You ask them to really start, working through Microsoft Outlook, and they're like, listen, I'm gonna let my grandson handle this one, but it is that. I think it's also you hit the nail right on the head, in my opinion. I think when you talk about change and changing someone's lifestyle, that's huge for people, especially when they get older. They know where things are and how things are moving about. I even tell my dad, who lives in New Jersey, it gets cold, and he shouldn't be where it's cold, but he will not. He doesn't care if it's 20 feet of snow. He will stay right there.
That's his home.
That's his home. Exactly right. Well, why is aging in place important?
Well, it's important because of those reasons, to stay at home, to give people that independence, the autonomy to make those decisions on their own. None of us want to have those kind of decisions taken away from us. So it's scary as you get older, and maybe your eyesight's declining, your hearing's going a little bad. This is something you can control. If you're at home, you make your decisions. You can't necessarily control some of the health issues you face.
Well, you talk about control. Let's turn this table over, and let's talk about when can sort of aging in place be a problem for people.
Well, obviously, as we all get older, sometimes we might need some assistive devices. So we might need something as simple as a grab bar in the shower, something to hold on to, or we might need a ramp to help us get into our house more safely. But the problem is so few of us have either the insurance or the resources to pay for some of these assistive devices. So let me tell you a little story about Bill. Now, Bill and June, they were married for 53 years. They had 4 sons, and they lived here in the area. All 4 sons married local girls, as they like to say. But as they got married, they've all 4 moved away. 2 of them moved as close as Indianapolis, but 2 are, one's in Oregon, one's in Texas, so they're pretty far away. Oh, I'm sorry. It was great for traveling and for vacationing for Bill and June, especially once they retired. They could go whenever they wanted to. But one summer day, Bill had gone out to breakfast with his buddies, as he always did, and he came home to find June on the floor. She had fallen shortly after he left, and she had fallen and broken her leg. So he called 911, called the boys, said, your mom has fallen, had to take her to the hospital. The two that were close were able to come right away, but because of their busy lives, they had to get back to Indianapolis. They had to get on with things. Excuse me. And then the other two, because their mom wasn't critical, they stayed where they were. So they didn't come right in, and their thought was, well, we'll wait till a better time to come and see Mom and Dad, when things are a little bit more pleasant. Well, a few days later, June gets released from the hospital, and guess who becomes her primary caregiver? That's now Bill. Well, June was the caretaker. He was a great businessman, but she was the wife in the family. She made sure that they ate, that the house was clean, and that they got to appointments on time. Bill's idea of cooking food was running into town, getting fast food, and bringing it home. His idea of cleaning was to make sure she had a path to walk safely on, and his idea of getting to medical appointments, it really wasn't that important any longer. So about 3 months after she broke her leg, she's still in the cast, a mailman comes to the door, and when he knocks on the door and he opens, Bill opens the door, and they find out that things aren't so nice inside. You can see it, you can smell it. It's just not been well taken care of. Now, had Bill known that there were senior support services throughout our counties and our states, he might have had a better chance of getting some help. But because things had declined so much, Bill and June had to be admitted into a nursing home. So it was really something that could have been prevented. So we just want to make sure that people know that aging in place, we know that that's important to seniors, but there's also services to help people stay there.
So that's important to know, that there isn't just these two extremes. Either I stay in my home, or I just handle everything myself, or I go to a retirement community and have everything handled for me. That there's a group that actually can come in and help me with domestic issues and cleaning the house and perhaps even cooking and providing support and all those good things.
Right. Now, with our agency, we would have provided housekeeping maybe a couple times a month, somebody to come in and help. We could have provided senior transportation with a daily reminder call the day before. So it would have reminded Bill, hey, you need to make sure she's up and ready. We could have recommended them for home-delivered meals, Meals on Wheels. So it could have really helped assist them to stay in their home longer.
Okay. Well, and I think those are really great benefits to keeping people in their respective homes when you have those kind of outlying support systems. Are the economic benefits of keeping a person at home a good thing?
Oh, definitely. On average, it costs around $60,000 a year for nursing home care to stay at home, and with most of the state-funded programs, it's around $20,000. So the savings are substantial, and besides that, people get to stay where they want to be. One of the other benefits would be so many of us care for our parents or our grandparents, and if I have a program that will help me get my parents to the doctor and I can stay at work, I don't have to miss my job, that helps keep me productive in the community and keeps me as an income, somebody bringing in income.
Well, that I think that is so important because, again, I think of so many other friends that I have whose wives or husbands are, not doing well, and they feel you want to, be present, but you also have to continue to take care of the financial expectations that are still before you.
Sure.
And to know that there is a group out there that can perhaps provide that support while you're away, and you can continue to pay to make sure that that occurs. Is these services available for cost, or is it available because of Medicaid or Medicare? Or?
Yes. I'm going to answer yes to all of that.
Okay.
There are Medicaid programs. There's a passport program in the state of Ohio, and it's an Ohio Medicaid waiver program. So it's designed to keep people in their homes instead of placing them in a nursing home. So they get tremendous benefits to stay there. But there's also, like through the local council on aging and the area agencies on aging, which Richmond and Preble County both have these. There's Meals on Wheels, senior transportation. There are those services out there to help people stay in their homes longer.
Is living at home the best option for everyone? And I know that's a broad statement. It's just everybody. Is it great for everyone?
No. Some people need to be in a nursing facility. Now, some of us may not want to be there, but our health may be so that we need to be in a nursing facility. In that situation, we support those people to be in the nursing facilities. But for those people who can take care of themselves and can stay at home, by all means, that's where they need to be. And as you know, with the National Council on Aging, 90% of people want to stay in their own home. So that's pretty definitive.
So what advice can you give those who are watching that are they're grappling with where they should be? Nursing home, retirement facility, or no home, and how can they get it done? What advice do you have for them?
I think the best advice that I have is to talk to your children, talk to professionals in the aging field, see where you are, talk to your doctor. If your health is okay, if you don't need a lot of support at home, then maybe it's okay to stay at home. But also know that the day may come that you need to be placed in a nursing facility. And my advice is know that ahead of time, see what the signs might be, and make that decision on your own.
Well, we also talk about our elderlies, and as they watch this, they're going to begin making decisions, and our kids are part of that process. And I would assume there are challenges to this process. What are those?
There are a lot of challenges to the process. And I think that the biggest challenge is the self-awareness, knowing where you are. And knowing that sometimes your decision might not be the best. So rely on other people's advice and their take on where you might be in your life.
I think you summed it up, Shelley, that take your family and the doctors and everyone else's considerations into mind. Thank you all for being part of Join Our Town. I'm Darryl Gordon, your host. Have a